Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Nathan. This is Roller Masters. So I got the Shark IQ, and in this video I'll help you decide if the Shark IQ is right for you. Alright, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, one thing to consider when you buy the Shark IQ is, do you have multiple levels? If your floor plan has a basement, a mid-level, and maybe an upper level, keep in mind that the Shark IQ can only do one level. It only can save one map. So if you try to move the Shark to a different floor plan, the Shark will have problems cleaning because it's trying to remember that single floor plan. That's one thing to remember. Now, I have heard that some people buy two Shark IQs to cover each level, but that gets pretty expensive, and for that price, if you had two Shark IQs, you could buy a Roomba i7 Plus for that same amount of money. And the Roomba i7 Plus can do 10 floor plans. Okay, so the next thing to consider is, how large is your floor plan? Is it 2,000 square feet? Is it 6,000 square feet? Is it 10,000 square feet? Now, if you have a 10,000 square foot home, none of these robot vacuums that I review on this channel can cover that, even with the recharge and resume. But if you had like maybe a 5,000 square foot home, the Shark IQ could technically do it with the recharge and resume, but keep in mind that it would have to go back to its charger, charge up, and then go back out to cleaning. Now, the Shark IQ does have really good cleaning abilities. It has a dual side brush system with single arms. I have found that they do well picking up debris from your baseboards. Also does well not scattering the debris, kind of like on the Roomba i7 Plus. Okay, here's a quick look at the Shark IQ's cleaning test in just a single area. Also, I'll show you how loud the robot is on high power. So here's a quick look at the cleaning pattern. It does a back and forth cleaning pattern, and then it will finish up with the perimeter sweep. The vacuum has area select or room select. Very easy. You just go ahead and scroll through the list of rooms you want it to clean, like the kitchen, the master bathroom, the bedroom, etc. And the robot will go with it. Also, the robot works with Alexa, so you could tell Alexa to clean a certain room. And with Google, it allows it to start and stop the robot. So there's a lot of great features that allows a lot of easy convenience for the user. So if you're a pet owner or you have a lot of hair on your floors, then I would recommend having the Shark IQ, because the extractor bar does really well not getting tangled up with the hair. It has a method of being able to cut the hair on the ends, so I would give an A+ for the Shark and its ability to manage hair. Okay, so once the robot's done, it will finish up with the perimeter sweep. You can always tell the robot to do a multiple pass to pick up the rest of the debris that it left off on the first run. Here's how loud the self-emptying bin is. Yes, both the self-emptying bins on the Shark IQ and on the Roombas are quite loud, almost like the upright vacuum, so don't run these at night or you'll wake up the entire household. Okay, how well does the self-emptying bin work? Well, the self-emptying bin actually did fairly good. It was able to remove most of the debris from the dustbin. One thing to note is the Shark IQ does not have a dirt detection sensor, so if there's excessive amounts of dirt, the robot will not detect it and spend additional time on it. If the bin's full, the robot will not detect that and keep on cleaning, so that's one thing to know. So I did do a Shark IQ teardown video, also with the self-emptying bin, and I did look for those sensors, the dirt bin sensor or a dirt full sensor, and I did not see any of those on the robot vacuum. But in reality, I have ran this many times and I haven't had issues clogging with my normal cleaning jobs. Okay, the next thing to consider is build quality. The Shark IQ is subpar to what other robot vacuums I reviewed. It feels like it's a little cheap. I do like that it has a nice glossy color to it, but the actual plastics do kind of feel like they're a little bit cheaper than what you expect. Okay, so the next thing to consider is obstacles, chair legs. Consider the efficiency of the navigation. This robot vacuum is below the standard in terms of navigation. It won't compete with like the Roborock or the Roomba series, but the working on getting updates, and I have seen that there has been a significant improvement in the navigation abilities, but that's one thing to consider, is the navigation isn't what other robot vacuums are. Okay, so here's an example of the Roborock S6. This is regarded as one of the best navigation robot vacuums in the industry. I have tested this robot and it does do a really good job navigating around the various chair legs. So if you have a complex environment, this is the robot vacuum to get. The Shark IQ can technically clean this area, but with all the obstacles it does struggle and easily gets confused. If you have a really large area and the Shark IQ is trying to clean the entire household while navigating these obstacles, it may spend additional time wasted trying to figure out where it's at and may miss some areas. Okay, here's a similar test with the Shark IQ. I kind of put down the similar chair legs, also did similar types of debris, but watch towards the end of this video clip because you'll see that the Shark IQ does manage to pick up the Skittles and some of the extra debris. So I also done additional testing with the Shark IQ. I tested how well the Shark IQ can get to different locations of my household once it's mapped, and it does for the most part do it. One thing to note is it does like to go into other areas, so if you're worried about the robot going to other areas, you may want to have to physically block out the area because unfortunately the robot doesn't support keep out zones or no-go zones. So that's just one thing to consider. Also, the Shark includes some boundary strips called magnetic tape. You can lay that down into different entryways to keep the robot out of certain areas. Okay, we're gonna have a close look at this chair leg. I'm actually slow down the video, but you notice that the robot does struggle getting out of the chair legs. That's one thing to consider, is if the object is really narrow in between where the robot's trying to squeeze out and in, it will struggle, and it does take a few minutes for the robot to actually get out from this chair. So if you're a new viewer to my channel, welcome, my name's Nathan. So on this channel, I try to cover every aspect of the robot vacuum. So I do several videos on these robot vacuums, from cleaning abilities to pickup challenges to navigation. I sometimes do stress tests like extreme pickup challenges. So it basically showcases how well the robot can pick up excessive amounts of dirt. I also do challenges head to head with other robot vacuums like races. I also do pickup challenges just to kind of mix it up and make it a little bit more fun. Now, if you're in the market for a robot vacuum, there's so many different brands and types, and a lot of them are really good. So the top models I like are the Roombas. I also like the Roborocks. The Shark IQ is good for the value. So if you're interested in a robot vacuum, I will have a couple links down below, and you can check out the prices of some of the robot vacuums that I like. Okay, so it looks like the Shark IQ is done. It's going to go ahead and finish up its back and forth cleaning pattern, and we'll finish up with this video. Alright, so it looks like the Shark kind of got confused, kind of messed up its back and forth cleaning pattern, but it does manage to pick up where it left off and finish up the cleaning area. So any Shark owners out there, let me know if you guys like the Shark and why. Also, if you dislike the Shark, let me know. Also, it helps me gauge if the Shark has any bugs I've missed. I've tried to cover everything, but I do know that there's some other bugs that I haven't covered that you guys experienced, kind of like Wi-Fi issues. I believe some of you had some battery issues as well, like short run times. But in my experience, I haven't experienced that. But I have experienced some bug, and I also experienced some connectivity with cellular. But I'll cover that shortly after this cleaning test. Now, if you never owned a robot vacuum, I think the Shark IQ would be good because you have nothing to compare to in terms of navigation. The robot does get the job done, and that's the most important thing. Is, does it clean well? Does it get the job done? Does it do what you ask it to? And for the most part, the robot does do it. Okay, let's talk about the ease of use. The Shark IQ is a little bit harder to use than what most robot vacuums require. So for example, if I went ahead and removed the dustbin, it's a little odd trying to pinch the two sides there. If you had like carpal tunnel, or if you're someone that maybe struggles with fine details with motor skills, then this is something you have to remember. You have to pinch here, and you also have to pinch up here. And it does take some force to get this removed. So that's one thing to consider, is the dustbin, and removing this does require a little bit of effort. Also, removing this does take a little getting used to. I think on the Roomba i7 the process is a little bit easier to empty out the dustbin. Okay, this gets to my next point. Another thing you gotta keep mindful of is the filters. There's actually 3 filters. You got one here. You also have one down in the bottom. Make sure that when you clean the filters that this one gets put back in, because this protects the motor from dirt and debris. Another filter is actually right here. Here's the third filter. Now, all 3 filters on the self-emptying bin are washable, but keep in mind that on the robot itself, the filter is not washable. Okay, so once you have the bin removed, it feels about 5 pounds, so that's one thing to consider if you have a weight restriction. Keep in mind that you are lifting about 5 pounds here. Also, the emptying process is right here. It just opens up a flap and all the debris comes out. If you're stuck with weight or you have carpal tunnel, that's one thing. It does require some movements and some weight to lift up this dustbin. Okay, so the shotgun key is for someone that has a single level floor plan. Keep in mind that if you have a larger floor plan, the robot will take additional time covering that because it's not as efficient as other robot vacuums. Lastly, the app integration. For the most part, it's been okay with my personal experience. I've been using an iPhone 8 and a Galaxy Note 9, and they both ran fairly good. There's some minor bugs, like with the mapping process, I couldn't pinch to zoom. Also had some crashes with the app. I also had some problems with the LTE. When I was on LTE, the robot wouldn't respond, but for the most part, the robot seemed to work okay. There's been some other issues like Wi-Fi issues where the robot would just randomly disconnect, but in my personal experience, I have not experienced that. Alright, just to finish up with this video, get the Shark IQ if you're looking to save some money. I believe they're like $350 or so. Also, if you want the self-emptying bin, I think for the value, the features, I think this is the robot to get. Okay, so if you're looking for a robot vacuum that offers a self-emptying bin for a fairly good price, I believe the Shark IQ can't be beat. Keep in mind that here in the US, at the time of filming, we only had 2 makers of the self-emptying bin, Roomba and Shark, so that's just one thing to consider. Alright, that was just a look at the Shark IQ. Hope you guys liked my video. Please smash the like button if you did. Also, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Dayton. This is Roman Masters. Okay, have a great rest of your day.